used to work at my auntie's restaurant and bar, and I enjoyed it. And then I thought, oh my God, it's great to do something like this. I want to open my own one up. So we opened one up, and it was probably the biggest mistake of my life.
Welcome to The Silent Epidemic by Omnia Therapy. Today's guest is Aidan Mevliet, Head of Social Media for Ultimate Pool. Aidan's story is as inspiring as it is unconventional. Leaving school at 16, he chose an untraditional path and turned it into an incredible journey of growth and success. Now he plays a pivotal role in shaping how the sport of pool is perceived globally. Aidan, it's a pleasure to have you here. Let's dive into your story. But before we do that, let's call the elephant out in the room.
Yeah.
Aidan is my nephew.
Yeah.
So I've obviously known Aidan from when he was born.
Obviously.
And it's a real pleasure to have you on the show. So how did leaving school at 16 and your early life set you on the road to where you are today?
Where I am today, it wasn't easy to get to where I am today. But obviously, left school, it wasn't really my thing, school. Academically wasn't, the cleverest and stuff like that. I was more business minded. Obviously, growing up in a Turkish Cypriot household, my dad was very, go, business, this, work hard, this and that. So, and it always interested me to take on what my dad did and follow his footsteps. Mum wasn't very keen on that idea, but my dad, I wanted to follow in his footsteps, sort of, and it's almost like you want to carry on the family business. So, I remember at school I used to work late nights during school with my dad and doing stuff for him. And then it got to a point where I just thought, let me just do it properly. And then, yeah.
Your inspiration to leave school almost came from, I want to follow in my dad's footsteps, carry on in the family business. You were working late nights on the business anyway, and almost feeling pulled from pillar to post in terms of, well, is it that I work in the business or do I do school? The business won and you decided to go down that route. Mm-hmm. So how did that go for you?
It wasn't easy. It was probably from when I left school till about 21 was probably the toughest period of my life I've ever been through in my life. Obviously left school, helping my dad run the businesses. We used to have catering at a place called Tully's Farm, where it was Shocktober Festival and Christmas stuff. We had 6 catering units there. And alongside that, my dad had a coffee shop. So I'd work, day and night. And then as I got older, I was running staff older than me when I was 17, 18 years old. My dad sort of left me in charge of running staff my own. And when it comes to business, I'm really, really good. Like, I see things that other people can't see. And it's something that I'd say is one of my best skill sets. So he trusted me, and I sort of took the business from one thing to another, and I worked really hard. Some days I'd be getting home at 1, 2 in the morning, waking up at 7 a.m. to go again for the next day, every single day, and it was tough. But it was seasonal at first, and obviously helping with the coffee shops. And then this is where things started to take a bit of a turn. I wanted a restaurant, so I used to work at my auntie's restaurant and bar, and I enjoyed it. And then I thought, oh my God, it's great to do something like this. I want to open my own one up. And my dad, said, let's do it. So we opened one up, and it was probably the biggest mistake of my life. But I don't think without that, I wouldn't be where I am today, if that makes sense. So obviously running the restaurants wasn't easy. It comes with a lot of challenges. Hospitality industry is so difficult to work in. Day and night. And it drove me and my dad apart, not gonna lie, because we're both heavy-minded, big minds, big personalities. He wants it his way, I want it my way. He's old school, I'm new school. And we just clashed all the time. So it wasn't a good family environment we'd work together day in, day out. When we'd get home, it's still work. It's because we used to live together, and it just wasn't a healthy place to be in at the time.
Obviously, it sounds like you were given quite a lot of responsibility at a young age, that feeling of managing people that are older than you. The hours sound like they're really unsociable. And then whilst you've said there that going through that difficult period in your life and making probably one of the worst decisions of your life in wanting to open that restaurant, you still see the benefit and the gain in the growth that you've had yourself personally as a result of that experience. So that's a really important message there, isn't it? Like, in terms of, for anyone that's struggling at the moment, know that the growth that comes out on the back of that struggle is where they're aiming to get to. But a couple of things is that, one, the hospitality industry, the pressure, the unsociable hours,
Yeah.
it's not all that it's cracked up to be, is it?
No, it's not. I mean, I thought having a restaurant and a bar that, and it was really good. I mean, we was busy. It was a great place to be in. You'd think 18-year-old boy, he's got his own bar and grill. He's gonna be, having lock-ins at night and drinking with his friends, inviting them down and stuff like that. It was none of that for me. I mean, I don't really drink now anyway. I took a whole year off drinking. Now I let myself dabble here and there. But when I had the restaurant, I wouldn't drink. I'd literally, my mind is so focused on work, and it's quite a bad thing because I was ill for work. Like I remember times where I'd feel sick because I was so anxious and had so much pressure to deliver that I'd feel sick. I'd go outside and I'd be gagging, and I wouldn't know why I was gagging, but it was my anxiety that I didn't know I had. And yeah, I mean, the pressure, and it's not what it seems. Hospitality is really not what it seems. It's difficult, especially when you live and breathe it every day, all night. And then obviously when it gets to a point where my dad had to take a break. He went away for 3 to 6 months for personal reasons. And I was left, at this time, we had another coffee shop now as well. And I was left to run the restaurant and the 2 coffee shops, as well as look after the household, making sure that there's money coming in to pay off the mortgage, pay off, bills, etc., and like any debts that we might have had from, suppliers or whatever, is to try and make things happen and keep the money coming in, And when he went away, it was a shock to me as well. But it was best for both of us as well to separate a little bit. So it took me, I had to really step up really for the first time and prove to myself that I can do this and this and that. And I remember the first, literally, and it was from when he went away, then literally the next day, I had to wake up at 4 a.m, open up the coffee shops, work there till 9, drive straight to the restaurant, open that for 10, and cook whatever, bar work, whatever I had to do, and run the business, go to get the shop in and all that sort of stuff, till 12 o'clock we'd close. By the time I get home, shower, 1 o'clock, straight back up again, 4 a.m. And I did that for a long period of time. And I did it, and it was stressful, and I got the business to a place of, doing well again. And I was proud of that. And I was, the business was in a better place than we've ever been. And when my dad came back and it was better, everything was sort of great. And then obviously when it did come back, we made the decision as a family that this restaurant is no good for us. It really is no good for us. So we ended up having to pack up shop. And then I wasn't busy. So with someone like me, I need to be active, doing something all the time. So with the coffee shops, they were running themselves with staff in there, etc. So then, my uncle, Mark, he said to me, come do some work for me. So I think I took that a bit of a different way. I packed up my bags, left the house, and moved in with you, turning up with a bag of clothes.
I know.
And I said, I'm here to work. So I went into the office, and then went from there.
Before we get into that part of it where you descended upon our household and didn't leave again, no, I'm only joking.
Yeah.
Just a couple of things, because you said there, like with the restaurant, you obviously, your dad had to take that break and you had to really step up. Sounds like there was a lot of pressure there in terms of you didn't even really have any space to compute what was going on with your dad from a personal perspective, because it was almost like go, 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 because you had that pressure to keep things going. And whilst, it's great that you can now look at that period and say, I'm proud of that. And you should be, because it was a lot of pressure and it was a lot of big task that you took on there, or that it was even placed upon you at the time, whichever way you want to look at it. But I suppose for the audience, it's that thing to consider, that hospitality environment, especially when you said about the lock-ins and having your mates over, I suppose you couldn't wait to get out of that restaurant. Talk less of calling your friends to come in there to socialise, because the hours are long. You're not going to want to be in there to unwind, are you? You're going to want to just go away from it and relax, because everyone needs to step away from their work environment. And then making that tough decision to say, actually, this isn't working for us. And in a way, that's something to be admired as well, because as a family, to make the decision of what is best for us, that takes strength.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it got to a point where it was separating our family. It really was, and it's nothing to do with like my mum or dad or anything like that. Because I love my mum and dad so much, honestly, and what they've done for me from a very young age to now, they look after me so well, and I can't complain about that. You know, they've done everything a kid could ask for. They've done for me, and I can hold my hat up to that. And that's another thing that I've struggled with is from a young age. Obviously, my parents, you know, they do well for themselves. My family, they do well for themselves, and you know, they love to look after their kids and give their kids what they wanted. But growing up, that from an outsider's point of view, you get fed on a silver spoon. You get what you want. You know, you're lucky. You're this. You're that. But people don't actually see that the stress I go through, because people think I don't do nothing. But I'm very good at what I do in a way where I'll set up a company or a business to a point where I can sit back. I'll have a thrill of getting it all going and getting it all ready and getting it to a point of making the money. And then I can sit back and let people run, and I can overlook things, if that makes sense. Like, people see that as very lazy, but they don't see the work that's been put into it before to get to that point. And that's just how I've always been when it comes to business. To people, it might seem lazy, like I said, but to me, it's just I do things well to a point where I could take a step back, but I get bored as well.
But no one really understands, even as you said, you mentioned there as your childhood, you lived quite a comfortable life. You never wanted for anything, never yearned for anything. But no one really sees the stress and pressure of a household to provide that for their children. They just see the child with all the nice things in life, but not really appreciating what goes in to get that. And I suppose that's the point you're trying to make with that.
Yeah, I mean, we moved. I was born in England, lived here for 4 or 5 years, and then we moved to Cyprus, Turkey, because I'm Turkish Cypriot. And you know, my granddad had a lot of stuff out there, businesses, and my dad was helping run them, etc., etc. So I was living out there, and then when we came back to the UK, my dad still had his coffee shops. But while our house was getting done up in the area that it was in, we was living in South London at my nan and granddad's old house, or my uncle's house as well. And I would go to school in the area where the coffee shops are and where, you know, my school was. And my dad would wake up at 3 a.m, drive an hour to open up the coffee shops. And I'd be in the car, I'd be like, 7, 8 years old, 9 years old, going in the back of the car, sleeping in the car, waking up at night, getting ready for school in the car, and then going to school, coming back, drive an hour to South London. And yeah, but people don't see that this is what, you know, as much as and the sacrifice that my mum and dad made to, you know, travel and do all that sort of stuff, and it was to provide for me and my brother.
So let's move on to that bit where you turned up at your auntie and uncle's house.
Yeah.
Because you were bored and needed a new project.
Yeah.
Tell us the story.
I was bored. Obviously, the coffee shops would run themselves, so I didn't really have to be there too much. I could do my admin stuff from, you know, my phone or whatever it might be. So my uncle said, "Come do some work with me." I didn't move straight in. I went into the office for a couple of days. Didn't have a job role, didn't have a title, didn't have a thing. And to be honest, I've been in hospitality all my life, so I don't know about office environments and corporate worlds and stuff like that. So I'm very like, and I'm open and I'm honest. It sounds bad, but it's almost like I don't see a hierarchy anywhere I go, because there's never been a hierarchy. So that was a struggle. But when I first went in there, I had nothing to do. So I was sort of just finding my way, whatever. There's no really job role. And then my uncle just started giving me little bits of roles here and there, whatever. The traveling was getting a bit long for me, so I packed up my bags and just moved it, just turned up at the door. And so I'm just here for the weekend, just so I can go work on Monday. And then never ended up leaving.
Oh, and it's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very
Lovely
much.
addition
Pleasure to be there,
house.
to be honest. But yeah.
So you've mentioned there that you were in the office. Sounds like it was a bit of a shock to the system. Very different environment for you.
Very different.
I think it was a shock to the system to everyone else in the office as well.
I think so as well. I think so as well.
How did you get to where you are now, or how did you explain the story?
So when I first went into the office, as I mentioned, I was nervous, right? Because like I said to you, I'm very good at what I do. I'm very business-minded. I can see a business and I can think. But in my head, I only thought that was in the hospitality environment, you know? So when I got to the office, I thought, am I going to fit in? Am I going to be thick? Am I going to be clueless? Am I going to be stupid? Like, I'm thinking everyone's going to be, not saying they're not, but everyone's going to, be talking about things that I have no idea what they're talking about, how they're doing this, how they're doing that. Ended up getting put into a business that was a startup, and it's been going on for 3 years, and they needed a kickstart. So I think my uncle and auntie just and you just wanted me to go into the business and just help them out and just help them with some admin work and stuff like that. And then when I went in there, my business mind just kicked in, and it was just like, okay, there's 6 of you in there. You two are doing the same thing. He doesn't know what you're doing. She thinks you're doing this, but you're not doing that. And there is no structure, and you're all getting confused about what's going on and who's doing what and stuff like that. You're just copying each other's works. You're doubling up on the jobs. Automatically, everything kicked in. I went and I said, look, this is happening. This, and this is going wrong. They need to do this, and this to sort this out. And that's your problems. It didn't get taken the right way because I didn't approach it the proper way, the office way. But at the end of the day, what I was saying was right, and that got taken as it was. And then, yeah.
So what did you learn there?
To take a step back and approach things in a more corporate way, if that makes sense.
Do you think now, looking back on that, do you think that was a combination of a different industry and having to handle things in a different way? But how much of that do you think would you attribute to age and experience?
A lot of it, probably. I mean, I wouldn't say age and stuff like that, because I feel like from a young age, I've been way older than I should be. I've not grown up the correct way. I've grown up, if I was 16, I was 24. If I'm 18, I'm 26. Like, I've grown up being older than I should be. So I wouldn't say it's age, but I think it's definitely the environment and experience that I've had previously. So the environment before was go, go, go. You want something done, you do it now. And it's very erratic and irrational and not thought about. So when I come to the office, that's how it was. It was very erratic, very this and that, fast paced, this and that. But when in actual fact, you've got to slow, take precaution, etc., etc. But that's just how I am.
But we can only learn, right? So from what I'm hearing there, it sounds like your approach was very bull in a china shop. You go in, you knock it all down and you get it all going. Yeah. But actually now you're learning that if I just take a step back and process exactly what I'm trying to say, articulate it in that calm and processable manner that the other can respond well to it, I'm going to get a far better reaction than the bull in the china shop.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it's hard because of how I'm wired. I mean, and I'm not saying I'm slow and I'm thinking now. I'm still very much the same, but I do take things a bit more slower. And depending on who I'm talking to or whatever, I know how to handle the situation better than I used to do. But I mean, that was sort of the kickstart to everything, because after that, I realised that actually, no, I do belong here, and I'm not going to be as stupid and a thing as I thought I was going to be in an office environment. Because at the end of the day, if you know business and you know how things should go and how things should work, you can do anything, anywhere, no matter what industry or environment you're in. 'Cause, I mean, in the companies, I've been in all types of different industries, from car terminals to well-being to pools, entertainment to media. Like, I've done a bit of everything in all the companies. And all of my skills that I've got have translated well into all them companies, my ideas or my thought processes. And I think the way I work is I don't want to sound like I'm big-headed or anything like that, but honestly, the way I work is like ×2. I'm so fast and so quick at what I do and efficient that, it gets to a point where I feel like I'm unstoppable in certain things, but then sometimes I need to just rein it back in a little bit and then go from there. But I cause myself stress.
Because that's the first thing that came to my head, and not just because I know you, but obviously doing the job that I do, you sort of kind of look out for signs like this. But someone's going at that fast pace and you're doing a job 2 times quicker than the average person, you're going to hit burnout, right?
Yeah.
You're going to hit a wall.
Yeah.
So how do you manage that?
I had a burnout this month.
Did you?
Yeah, I've had a burnout this month. I struggled this month. So I'm diagnosed with ADHD and anxiety, which I used to take medication for. I don't anymore at the moment because I'm trying to work on being able to, do it without the medication. But I hit a burnout this month. So how ADHD works, and it's hard to explain it to people. So people think like ADHD, because it's thrown about and it's like, I've got ADHD, this and that. What people don't realize is it doesn't mean you're just really erratic and this and that, which I am sometimes. But how I can imagine it is you're a +4, you're a -4, right? So I go through phases where I'm +4, which means I'm really happy, I'm enthusiastic, I'm confident, I'm the life of the party. If I walk into a room, I'll make everyone laugh or whatever, and I'm really energetic, and people are like, wow, like da 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 da. And then they might meet me in 3 weeks' time, and I'm moody, depressed. I don't want to talk to no one. Leave me alone. I don't want to be here. Like complete opposite to what I was. And they're like, whoa. Like I remember Aiden being fun, energetic, thing, etc. But people don't realize that I'm always going to be battling what I go through now. As in, I'm always going to be battling my mood swings. 1 minute I'm going to be really happy. Next minute I'm going to be depressed. There's no in between. There's no level motion. It's either I'm really happy and life's great, or really down and life's bad. And when I look at life, it's not actually bad. I look at everything I've got, everything I'm doing, nothing in my life right now nothing's gone wrong. I'm not having an argument with no one. It's just a normal day like it would be. But something in my mind switches and I'm just depressed, and I can't picture why or see why. And that's a struggle that I have big time. I mean, I woke up one day and I cried because I was depressed, and it kept happening. And I was just thinking to myself, like, I was doing therapy, I was taking my medication, and I woke up and I was depressed. Nothing. I looked at my life, everything was great. I'm going on holiday next week, I'm this and that. And I was just like, why? And I just thought to myself, I'm going to be battling this for the rest of my life. Like, whether I like to think it or not, but I am. I'm going to be battling this for the rest of my life, and I can't help that,
Obviously, I know you. And I know that your diagnosis is something that's quite new, right? Especially you went down the route of going, as the doctor suggested, of going down the medication route. And that didn't suit you, and it doesn't suit everybody.
Yeah.
Now, you've just described that you go, and then boom, the burnout comes. So whilst, yes, this is a battle that you are experiencing, there is also an element of you have to manage that. So you try not to maybe see it as a battle and see it as, I need to manage this differently. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think,
because if you can maintain that, almost when you're up there, if you can catch it in terms of noticing, well, I'm really up here, actually, I'm going to preserve a little bit. I'm going to tone it down a little bit. I don't need to make 35 people in the office laugh and, hold their bellies and all the rest of it. I can just sit with my team and connect with my team because I'm preserving my energy. The chances are you will prevent that burnout. And if you prevent that burnout, you stop that crash.
Yeah, I think part of it is I put the pressure on myself as well. It's a lot to do with me.
But having that diagnosis, and I'm sure that a lot of the audience are going to be able to relate to this if they've been diagnosed, you're trying to figure it out, right? So you've almost spent a period of your life sort of unsure of, what is this? Why am I like this? Why am I different to Tom, Dick or Harry, for example? Then you get the answers. Okay, the answers may give you that feeling of, so that's why that difference came about. But it's on you now to understand yourself through that self-awareness to manage the ADHD so that you're not on the up and down trail. You're still going to you'll be in waves of it because that's the nature of what it is. But it won't be so bang, 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 bang because your management of it will become easier.
Yeah, I think it is something I still have to work on.
Of course, yeah. And that goes with any mental health struggle. It's something that you do have to work on. Yeah, there's not a quick fix. So even when you're on the medication, it didn't fix it, did it?
No, so the medication, it mellowed me out. So I was the same. But then it got to a point where I started thinking I'm not funny anymore. I'm just mellow. I'm just, no offense to all you normal people, but I'm just normal. I'm just content and just that normal level thing. And I didn't like it and it got to a point where it's like, do you know what? I'd rather have my burnouts and have my down times, but I'm still gonna have 60% of energetic fun, Aiden, that everyone loves and everyone, adores. So like I sacrificed the mellow side of things for that, 'cause, like, it wasn't me, it's not me.
So that mellow feeling almost felt so alien to you that you felt disconnected from the version of you that you like. Then you've said it again there, that thing of I'd rather have the burnout, when actually managing the ups
Yeah.
so that you preserve that energy will prevent the burnout. So there is an answer, Aid.
Yeah. No, there is. I just need to get to the grips of it.
That's it. Yeah, and you will get there because it's a journey. And everyone's path and everyone's speed on that journey differs. Some people won't ever want to go down that route of the self-awareness to manage and understand their triggers and use, well, I've got ADHD, that's just the way that I am. You can manage it.
Yeah. I mean, from where I first began to what I am now, it's not completely. It is completely different. I am much more well spoken. I know how to handle situations better. I know how to conduct myself in meetings. Before it got to a point where we was in Ultimate Pool meetings with all the directors and all the stuff, and obviously you know how office works. Directors are talking and stuff like that. You just listen as a junior or whatever I was. Like, but I'm very well outspoken. I just speak whatever's on my mind, and people don't take that the right way. But even to the point where my uncle had to say, "Shut up," so during a meeting in front of everyone, I'm like, "Oh, okay." But like to now, I'll wait for the right time to talk. And when I do conduct what I'm going to say, it's very well structured, very well mannered, very like bullet pointed, straight to the point, and people I think respect that more. So in terms of like that side of things, I think I'm doing much better.
Would you say there that you've mastered the art of reading the room?
Yeah.
Well done.
Yeah.
Well
Sometimes
done.
I don't even
We've
say
been working
nothing.
on that for a while,
Yeah.
right?
Sometimes I don't even say nothing. I'm just like, all right, cool. I just won't say nothing. I'll keep my mouth shut. And then just let them talk, and then if I think what I was going to say is valid, I'll say it.
And that's progress in your managing your ADHD. Because if I'd have said that to you 18 months ago, you probably would have said, "Well, I can't help it."
Yeah, I can't. It sounds stupid, but I can't. If I've got something to say, and I think I'm always going to think I'm right in whatever I'm saying, and my angle's the right way to go. I can't help myself but say what I need to say.
But you are doing it because you're not.
Yeah.
You're managing it in terms of, okay, I'm saving this. I'll maybe sit on it or save it for the appropriate time rather than.
Yeah, I still struggle. I'm still very erratic, like, because I've still got that go mentality.
So you mentioned there that you've still got that go, and as you said yourself, it's not a bad thing because it's that go that ignites the passion, the drive, and that is something to lean on, not turn off.
Yeah.
But I'm wondering, how is that received within the corporate environment?
People from an outsider point of view, I don't know, but people that work close to me, I can imagine I'm not very pleasant to work with. I really can. And it's tough to say because I try my best to have the in-between of, being the go, but still being nice. And I'm not horrible. I think the way I go about things, it might come across as rude or horrible and stuff like that, but it's not. It's just, I need this done, I want it now. It's, come on, let's do this now. If something's on my mind at 9 o'clock at night, I don't realise that these people switch off at 5 o'clock. But I don't switch off. I sleep, I don't rest. My mind's still working, so I'll message them because it's on my mind. I need it. I don't think it's taken the best way, and it really does upset me because I've had it recently because I try my best to be nothing but nice to everyone that I work with, and I really do. But I think they struggle to understand how I am. I think I'm not saying it's a them problem, but I am very difficult to understand, and how I say things and how I do things gets taken very, very differently, Obviously, I'm head of social media now for Ultimate Pool. And before this, I was still working with Ultimate Pool for about a year and a half, going to their events, running tournaments. And my job roles escalated into that, right? Where we'd run TikTok tournaments that, we'd do, and it pursued very well, got hundreds of thousands of views. And then it got to me, taking a more camera approach with them. So I'd do content with the professionals, I'd bring out my fun side, get the fun personalities out of the professionals, and I really started enjoying what I was doing. I found my place finally in the companies, and that was with Ultimate Pool, where I, like I said, do content, fun stuff, different things for people to see pool in a different way. pool's fun. It's not like snooker where it takes long. And I started.
Slow and boring. It's
It's
fast
fast
paced,
paced.
right?
It's fun, and it really reminds me of how darts is. You know, it's very fun, energetic, and it's that type of crowd. And I wanted to start bringing that out because on the shows and the cameras where the professionals playing proper games, they seem very serious and people think they're boring and stuff. There's this one player, right? And I'll mention his name, Jordan Shepherd, right? And I've told him this before. He's a pool player, pro pool player. And I remember Ultimate Pool had an event, the first arena event. That event, Jordan Shepherd, he was playing and he was so moody. Like, this was a fun event that Ultimate Pool done, right? And I didn't really know him, right? And I said, I don't like this guy. I said, Jordan, I said, who's this? Like, so he's really boring. He's not really getting involved in the fun side of things. It's meant to be fun, like he's being bare moody. A year down the line, he ended up being with us for an event or whatever. I started talking to him and stuff like that, right? And he was the funniest person. Like, he was so good. And honestly, like, it was at the World Championships. We was there for 2 weeks, right? And for some reason, he really warmed to me that trip. For some reason, I really connected with him for some reason, you know? His one goal was to win the Pool World Championships, right? And I was rooting for him that whole time, right? And he had such a different side to him that from what I thought of him a year ago, right? Because he was playing pool, I thought, this is a boring guy. Like, have some fun, man. To the point where he won his match against Tom Cousins, who's the world #1, to make it to the semi-finals, I believe it was. And I was watching it on the TV in the media room, and it was a bit delayed. And as I was watching it, I was so happy he won, like, because I know it meant a lot to him. And and I heard a bang on the door. I looked behind me, and he was there. And he opened the door, and he started crying. He was bawled out, and he just hugged me. And honestly, I started crying as well, because it was just like, it meant so much to him. I thought, like, basically my point I'm trying to make is I perceive someone in a different way. And it made me think, do you know what? These pool players, they've all got personalities, right? So let's do some content, show their fun side and show who they really are. Start, getting them out to a bigger audience. And we started doing this fun challenge, and they were getting millions and millions of views. Some videos got 28 million views, 24 million views. They've never had such exposure in their lives, right? And it was great, to the points where I'd be filming with these guys, like Jordan, for the first time I filmed with him, he made a joke, and I was speechless for the first time, because I was like, oh, you are funny, like, and then, but yeah, that's, I've sort of rambled on a bit there, but that was, Ultimate Pool, what I was doing with Ultimate Pool, etc. Then it got to a point where I was building my own social media as well as with Ultimate Pool, so when I'd be at the events, I'd, do my own content, etc. And I'm now on 30,000 followers, which to me is, it's a big achievement, obviously, because I didn't think, I always look at people on social media and stuff like that, and it never hit me that this could be a really big source of income, as well as, people see your content, they enjoy it, it's a thrill I'm always checking the likes and stuff like that. It's not healthy, it's not good to do that, the comments and stuff like that. And I kept doing it. And when I was about 20,000 followers, obviously I'd get recognised at pool events and stuff like that, but that wasn't really like, I'm at a pool event, so I'm not expecting to be recognised, but people know me from obviously the Ultimate Pool stuff. But then I went to a concert, A Boogie with a Hoodie concert, which is more my age, like rap, grime. He's from America. He came to London at the O2 Arena. And as we were leaving the venue, I was with my friend. We was walking, like leaving the venue, and then this guy was stumbling, like he was drunk, right? With his friends, but he was a bit in front of his, lagging behind his friends. He was a bit probably drunk, and then he's like, "Oi!" I was like, "Oh God, like
here we go.
Do you get it?" And then he's like, "Oi, you!" I was like, "Not now, like I'm just trying to get home." And then he was like, "I recognise you." And then my mate started pissing him, so he was cracking up, because obviously he goes, "You're that snooker guy, innit? You're that guy on TikTok, I've seen you." And he's like, "Can I get a picture?" And at that point, I was like, wow, like I know it's little, but to me, that's like, wow, like, it's quite like, it's amusing in a way to see stuff like that. And then from that point, I thought, let me start taking this more seriously. So I started doing more, and I was working really hard. And then a couple of months ago, my uncle, Ultimate Pool's got over 2.5 million followers on social media, right? Before this as well, we launched in America last year as well. So I was going out to events in there, connecting with people, networking, shooting content for their channels as well. And that was the first time where I went back one day and started looking back at the comments on YouTube, and they were horrible, bad. Like, to the point where when I read it to people, we'll laugh about it. But honestly, like, it's tough to see them comments, right? Because it's not the comments that are like, oh, he's bad at pool, he's this, he's that, he's that. It's the ones where it's like, this guy seems unpleasant to be around, or this guy's annoying, or who does he think he is? And there was some comment that said, I don't know, I wish I could. I don't know what I could say with words that will physically hurt this guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that, and it's like, obviously I know it's all internet people and this and that, so it doesn't really bother me too much, but it hurt because it's like, that is not actually how I am. But in these videos, you don't realise that there's a persona. With social media, whether you like to believe it or not, everyone has a persona, right? And my persona, but I am like how I am in them videos, very edited, very loud and stuff like that. But I'm extra and I'm more this, like KSI, for example, right? You think he's like how he is in his day-to-day life, how he's on camera. No, nothing like it, right?
So how do you manage reading those negative comments? And as you said, they're just keyboard warriors, aren't they? They're people at home. They're bullies, aren't they? They're at home. That old fashioned saying comes to mind. I remember it as a kid of, if you haven't got anything nice to say, just don't say it.
Yeah.
And I suppose they can adopt that idea themselves. How do you work through that? It is challenging, as much as you might think, oh, whatever they say, they're not nice. To see it in black and white and to receive them repeatedly,
there's nothing you can do. They're going to be there. They're going to comment. You can't stop them from commenting. It's just how you take it, in one and out the other,
So it's almost like acceptance that, you know what, if I'm going to be in this limelight, then actually there are going to be them people, and I just can't take any notice of what they're saying because it comes with being in this position.
Exactly, and I think then it goes to, I do get really good comments as well, good people, positive comments and stuff like that, and it then comes to, I know who I am, and people around me that matter to me know who I am. So whatever you say doesn't matter. You don't see what I do. You don't see how nice I am. You don't see how caring I am to people, If someone's card gets declined in front of me, I'm paying for whatever they're having because I feel guilty, I feel anxious, I feel like there's no reason why you shouldn't, if I'm going out with my friends, let's say hypothetically, I'm gonna have a steak, but you can't have a steak. I'm gonna buy you a steak because that's just how I've been brought up. That's just how I am, I'm caring, I'm generous, and I'm nice. And that's the things that go through my head when I see these comments. Like, you don't really know me, And then it's nice because I do have people backing me in the comments as well, saying it's banter, and that's what it is. It's all banter. How I am on the camera is all banter. And people take it differently, but that was that really. And then now we're going to America as well this year as well. So I'm really looking forward to it because I made really good friends out there, networking really well, and I feel like I am loved out there, which is a good thing. They call me the hype man. So people are like, why is Aiden getting invited there? He's got no skills. But people say I'm the hype man. I'm the energy man. I'm the one who brings the mood up. I'm the one who gets things going. We have halftime shows that we do in the USA as well, like you see at the Super Bowl, whatever, right? And I'm at the table in the arena with everyone there watching, and I'm doing fun stuff, getting mini games, getting the whole crowd going, and really entertaining the whole crowd. And it's so great that I can do that, and people perceive that so well. And I do really enjoy doing that when I go there.
Nice. That sounds like a perfect fit for you in terms of ticks all your boxes. You like getting, the crowd going, connecting with people. It sounds like you really enjoy it.
Yeah, I do. And obviously, alongside all this, doing up this influencer lifestyle, I was quite relaxed in my job role and what I was doing. Then my uncle said, I want you to be head of social media for Ultimate Pool. Okay. But so they sent an email out without me even knowing to say, I ain't head of social media, Now, the people in the social media team that was already there didn't take it very well. It was, he's only got the role because of his uncle. Why it's been handled the wrong way, whatever it might be. And it wasn't taken well. So I had people against me from the very start, I'm 23. Who am I to tell a 44-year-old what to do? But what these people don't realise is I've been through all this. I've told 44-year-olds what to do before. I've told older cousins what to do before. I've sacked friends before because business is business at the end of the day. And whether I'm 23 or 44 ain't got a difference. If I'm right, I'm right. And if I know what I'm doing, I know what I'm doing, no matter what my age is. Do you get what I'm trying to say? And that I don't really take anything from no one in a way where if you think something of me, when it comes to work and business, whatever your opinion on me is doesn't matter. But it gets to a point where it does hurt because I'm there like I'm trying to better the company, and also what you don't realize, I'm actually trying to make your job easier. I'm gonna put a structure in place. I'm gonna make sure things are organized. I'm gonna, you know, and it's now getting to a point where people are realizing that. But leading up to this, we'd have meetings and no one would respect me. They were switched off in the interviews, in the meetings and stuff like that. And I'm trying to grow the company, you know. And since I took over, I know how social media works, and the numbers speak for themselves, you know. And it got to a point where, you know, a couple of the guys maybe weren't happy with how things maybe were handled, and you know, whatever it might have been, I don't know. But it's ended up with me being on my own now. Not on my own, but I've still got a couple of people. But really, running the business, the social media side of things, has been all left to me. And it's almost like I've been doing up influence of this, influence of that, and going out doing this and fun stuff to the point where right
Now the serious.
now the serious stuff's happening, and I'm under it right now, you know. And at the end of the day, there's nothing you could do. You just got to, until you find someone to replace these people who have moved on to other things and stuff like that. You've got to make sure this company is still running, right? And that to me is exciting, right? So, and I'm working very, very hard at the moment, and I'm really stressed out. But the business is at a point where I'm doing two people's jobs now, and I'm organising. It's scheduled. It's all. I've got stuff scheduled in 3 weeks in advance. This is where my go and my 2 times speed kicks in, and it's like, right, like you need to kick on now, and I will kick on, and I won't rest until I've got some time to rest. If that makes sense, you know, my to-do list has to be done today. It has to be, and I've got to, you know, I'm doing what I'm doing on my own at the moment, and it's, you know, it's doing better. Things are organised, and things are scheduled, and I think it gets to the point. It's at the point where it's like I know what, because it's all on my plate. I know what needs to be done. I know what the to-do is, and because it's all on me, I don't have to rely on other people. I can structure it how I want it and make sure it's organised. I don't have to rely on people. Kind of like that, but I know that's not. I can't continue working like this, you know.
So while you're sort of noticing that, okay, it hasn't been very well received, your new position, you've put the structure in place, but you now know that you've got to work on that part of sharing those job roles and responsibilities, because you can't continue running at the pressure that you're running at the moment and sustain it. So that's, I suppose, the next layer of your growth in this corporate world.
Yeah, I mean, it's good that I've been put in this situation, because, like, people think I couldn't do all this stuff, but when it gets down to the nitty gritty and things need to be done, I'm the person you want to go to, because I'll make sure that nothing fails. I'll make sure it's done. But it's good that I've had this, because now before I wasn't doing bits and pieces, but now doing everything involved in social media for the company. I know everything that needs to be done, how long things should take, how long, you know, all the stuff that needs to be done. I know how it works, and I've done it myself. So when I do get someone else in, I know how to manage them, and I know what they can and shouldn't be capable of doing. But yeah.
So it sounds like you're under a lot of pressure. You've got all these different responsibilities. You're going to America, you're coming back, you're now sort of head of social media of a team that, you know, you need to rebuild. So there's a lot of work on you. You're a young man. Where does your social life come into that?
It's hard. I'm not gonna lie, because at the moment, especially where I'm going through what I'm going through in the past 2 months, it's been difficult to have a social life, because my mind's just work, and I'm really ill at the moment with work, if that makes sense. You know, my mind, I'm living and breathing it day and night, sort of how I was at the hospitality at the moment. But I mean, I've got a good group of you know, friends around me, people around me that I'll have to, like, you know, I'll have the day on the weekend, or I sort of manage it. I have football on Thursdays with my friends, you know, in the evening. I go to all the time. It's like a way to get out for me and see my friends or whatever. And then maybe the odd day on the weekend, I'll see my friends and do some stuff like that. But it is difficult. It is difficult, because I might not be the same Aidan as I am normally, because I'm more stressed out. But I've got friends I've got good people around, very good people around me at the moment.
So it sounds like having that connection, that good support network, you notice how valuable that is to you at a time where work pressure is on, almost taking you back to that uncomfortable space where you're sort of go, until you balance that having the support of good friends and a good support network is important to you.
Yeah, very important. I think if you need to be around people that you can take your mind off, maybe work and stuff like that. It's a little bit more difficult for me to take my mind off things, but it's good to, even if you have 5-10 minutes of zoning out of work and enjoying the moment, then I think that's all you need with friends, you know. And this day and age as well, with social media and stuff like that, you know, I think it's more difficult to, you know, do that stuff, go out and do things that are not involving on social media and stuff like that. You know, take your mind away from everything.
So, Aidan, thank you for sharing your inspiring story from leaving school at 16 to becoming a leader in your field. Your journey shows that unconventional paths can lead to extraordinary destinations. Before we finish, is there one message or piece of advice you'd like to share with our listeners?
I'm gonna repeat saying that you've always told me, and I actually live by it. If you're going through whatever you're going through at the moment, or things are struggling, you're going through some hard stuff, then just ask yourself, is it going to matter in 6 months' time? Because really, more time than not, it's not going to matter in 6 months' time. So then put yourself in that present and think, you know, actually, yeah, you're right. It's not going to matter in 6 months' time. Don't stress out about it. Don't pull your hair out about it. Because with time, things only can get better, you know? And then, yeah, that's it.
Thank you. So, to our audience, thank you for tuning in to The Silent Epidemic. If Aidan's journey resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Join us next time for more inspiring conversations.